everyone, and what a beautiful day it is to celebrate the union of two hearts in marriage. I would like to please welcome each of you to take your seats as the ceremony is about to begin. Before we kick off the ceremony, I would like to firstly cover off some housekeeping in respect of the bride and groom's wishes. Please place your phones on silent or preferably switch them off if you can. The bride and groom also ask that you turn off any flash photography from your cameras, and don't worry, we do have professional photographers here ready to capture every special moment. And lastly, please try your best to keep this beautiful property as clean and tidy as you possibly can. For those of you who haven't met me, my name is Natasha, and I am the marriage celebrant that has the pleasure of celebrating the marriage of James Stephen Peters and Toula Krista Christakos. I hold them both very dearly to my heart, and I am feeling honoured to be officiating their wedding today. I am also honoured to be here with each of you today to witness this momentous occasion, and here we are, rain, hail or shine, ready to celebrate and finally watch the lovely couple tie the knot. Now today really is a celebration after all, so can we get a round of applause for our groom and his groomsmen? Thank you. On behalf of the bride and groom, I would like to deeply thank each of you for coming today and being a part of Jim and Toula's lives. The bride and groom would also like to acknowledge those guests who could not make it today due to travel restrictions. They are deeply torn and sad not to be able to have everyone here with them today, but on a positive note, they would also like to make a special mention and thanks to Jim's sister Nikita for acting as an interpreter for our bride Toula today. Without you, we would not have been able to make this happen, so thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, for the moment that we have all been waiting for, I would like to welcome our beautiful bride Toula and her bridesmaid Nikita. We are gathered here today to celebrate the commitment between Jim and Toula. Marriage is a union of heart, body and mind. It is intended for the mutual joy, health and support given to one another. And as your celebrant, it gives me deep pleasure to watch the both of you make a commitment to each other today, to chase each other's dreams, face each other's disappointments, support one another through your failures and realize your hopes. What I'm about to share with you today are the beautiful stories of how Jim and Toula came to fall in love with one another. You know that saying about never forgetting your first love? Well, Jim and Toula are proof that this saying is true. Jim and Toula were teenagers when they first met and fell in love back in Greece. A shy, playful and adventurous pair of high school sweethearts that came to grow fond of each other over the recess and lunch periods at school, and occasionally after school too. Jim would pick a flower for Toula every morning from the neighbour's garden and hand it to her at the school gate, where she would be patiently waiting with butterflies in her stomach. But like all good things which come to an end, the light of their flame eventually blew out when Jim and his family set upon a new adventure here in Australia. Over time, both Jim and Toula grew into adulthood, met other people, fell in love once more, and created two beautiful families that are being joined here together today. I would like to acknowledge Jim and Toula's children, Nick, Olivia, Eleni, and Nikos, for accepting Jim and Toula into your hearts, as it means a great deal to your parents to have your support. Fast forward to last year, where Jim and Toula reconnected through Facebook, and after a short time, all of their wonderful childhood memories came flooding back, and a spark in connection somehow managed to rekindle the flame that had blown out so many years ago. Jim flew back to Greece to meet with Toula, where they had the time of their lives on the beaches of Mykonos, drinking cocktails, picking flowers from gardens, and falling in love once more. Toula, welcome to your new home here in Australia. I would now like to welcome the bride and groom and their children to take part in planting this tree pot. Each of the bride and groom's children have brought with them soil from their own homes, as well as soil from this very ground, to plant this tree as a symbol of acceptance, growth, and stability. As beautiful as flowers are, there is something so special about potting a plant. This is because you'll have the ability to nurture and take care of your plant in order to see it grow over time. A plant lasts a lot longer than a flower, and thus is a great symbol of unity when it comes to two couples in marriage. It can also be a source of inspiration as your love for each other increases and grows over time alongside your plant. Please join us to plant this tree pot. Thank you. I would now like to invite Nikita to read a poem translated in Greek. The poem is called Love is a Great Thing by Thomas A. Kempis. Thank you, Nikita. I am duly authorized by law to solemnize marriages according to law. Before you are joined in marriage in my presence and in the presence of these witnesses, I am to remind you of the solemn and binding nature of the relationship in which you are now about to enter. Marriage, according to law in Australia, is the union of two people to the exclusion of all others voluntarily entered into for life. I would now like to ask Nikita to interpret the mononym back to Toula.
I am duly authorized by law to solemnize marriages according to law. Before you are joined in marriage in my presence and in the presence of these witnesses, I am to remind you of the solemn and binding nature of the relationship into which you are now about to enter. Marriage, according to law in Australia, is the union of two people to the exclusion of all others, voluntarily entered into for life.
Nikita, may you please acknowledge the acceptance and understanding. May you please acknowledge the acceptance and understanding that the bride has understood the mononym.
Yes, she has.
Thank you. The symbolic vows that you are about to make are a way of saying to one another, you know all those things we promised and hoped and dreamed? Well, I meant it all, every word. Look at one another and remember this moment in time. Before this moment, you have been many things to one another. An acquaintance, a friend, a lover, a dancer, a karaoke partner, and even a teacher. You have learned so much from one another in the last few years. Now you shall say a few words that take you across the threshold of life, and things will never quite be the same between you both. After these vows, you shall say to the world, this is my husband, and this is my wife. The couple will now take turn in reading their vows to one another. I would like to welcome Jim to say his vows.
I call upon the persons here present to witness that I, James Stephen Peters, take thee, Toula Christakos, to be my lawful wedded wife.
I would now like to ask Nikita to interpret Jim's vows back to Toula.
I call upon the persons here present to witness that I, James Stephen Peters, take thee, Toula Christakos, to be my lawful wedded wife.
I will now ask Nikita to interpret the following legal vows of the bride to Toula before asking Toula to repeat them back to Nikita to ensure her understanding. The vows are as follows. I call upon the persons here present to witness that I, Toula Christakos, take thee, James Stephen Peters, to be my lawful wedded husband. Nikita, please repeat these back to Toula.
I call upon the persons here present to witness that I, Toula Christakos, take thee, James Stephen Peters, to be my lawful wedded husband.
Nikita, if you could please request that the bride repeat these vows back to you to confirm her understanding.
Can you please repeat these vows back to me?
I call upon the persons here present to witness that I, Toula Christakos, take thee, James Stephen Peters, to be my lawful wedded husband.
May you please repeat back the bride's understanding of the vows.
She calls upon the persons here present to witness that she, Toula Christakos, take thee, James Stephen Peters, to be her lawful wedded husband.
May you repeat back the vows word for word as the bride has said them.
I call upon the persons here present to witness that I, Toula Christakos, take thee, James Stephen Peters, to be my lawful wedded husband.
Thank you. These rings are a physical symbol of the commitment that the bride and groom have just made to each other. The giving and receiving of rings is the most important part of a marriage ceremony because these rings are made in the symbol of that which is eternal. So when you place these rings upon each other's fingers, wear them with love and with honor. Ring bearer, may you please provide us with the rings. Jim, please exchange your rings too.
And then I'll grab one from you. Thank you.
Congratulations, you may now kiss your bride. We'll take a brief moment to pause while the bride and groom and their witnesses sign their marriage certificates. Would you please join me on the table?
Yes. Don't mind if I do.
I would like to welcome both the bride and groom to sign their certificates of marriage, along with the certificate of faithful performance by the interpreter. Thank you. Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Jim? One more. Congratulations. Just here, Toula. Thank you. And to our lovely interpreter, Nikita. And once more, just here. Thank you. And to our lucky last witness, thank you. And just here. Okay. Please join me back on the altar. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time, I would like to present to you Mr. and Mrs. Peters.